Let's fucking go, baby. Little scalp a lot. Another daily review. Let's go ahead and get to it, man. I didn't even get comfortable yet. Oh my god. Alright, I just went through a brand new update on my computer today. Everything is looking freaking crispy. Unfortunately, I didn't get to save the recording from my trades of this morning. We only got 3 to talk about. But man, just real quick, let's go over the progress. Again, I'm going through my very first 25K prop firm eval right now. And guys, I'm very happy. Not with my results, as you can see here. I'm off to a really good start. And it's been only about, I believe, a week. Yeah, this is my second week. So I traded all the last week in this account. And just taking a second to just look at, my progress so far. I didn't expect to be this far along this soon. And just looking at my statistics here, it's very clear that the strategy that I'm trading is profitable. More importantly, I'm able to trade this consistently every day. As you can see, I'm sitting at about a 50% accuracy. Risk to reward is looking pretty good. And I'm not so hyper focused on, this dollar amount right here. Guys, what I really think has really changed my trading is how disciplined I have been at cutting my losses when it's time to cut them. I have not slipped on that a single time on any single trade. When I said I'm going to cut at my predetermined risk, it's automatic. I'm telling myself in my head, if it reaches 210, for example, 210, I'm stopping out. 210, I'm stopping out. As soon as I see 210 coming in on the tape, I'm stopping out. Guys, I feel like a professional trader. I'm trading like a professional trader. And once I pass this eval, I will be a professional trader. So I'm going to keeping things controlled on the downside, keeping my risk managed, my executions consistent, staying on the right stocks to trade. Guys, that's the foundation, man. Anyways, before I ramble on too much, 3 trades today. Really great trade to start the morning on LASE. Again, unfortunately, I don't have the exact recordings of how I executed these, but I'm going to go ahead and go over them the best that I can. So again, right here, first trade of the day was on LASE. I don't recall if this had news or not. You know what? Let me just go ahead and look real quick, because I do kind of want to know that. I believe we did. Yeah, so as you can see, actually, no, this didn't. So this didn't have any breaking news today, but it did have earnings yesterday. So that was kind of like what had it pop in this morning. And this was the only thing that was moving going into 7 a.m. And right as 7 a.m. Came around, this thing made a very big move, which was what got me interested. And I'm sure many other traders, because not much was going on. So kind of just giving you like how I was thinking of this. I keep it simple. We kind of had a downtrend going on right here on the 5-minute. Why is this not working? Kind of had this kind of downtrend going on. Nothing crazy, but just looking at it now, this was an after hours mover from yesterday, probably because of that earnings. And you can see it put in some pretty good price action. Once we came into 4 a.m. here, tried to pop but got rejected. Kind of just went sideways. Made a couple little moves here, but ultimately into 7 a.m. we broke through this this downtrend right here. And I love seeing that. I love seeing like a big downtrend, something breaking out, and I look for that very first pullback. I love trading that. And as you can see, just a big move that we made here, and the sharp increase in volume right here, that's what got me interested in the trade. And man, this thing gave such a nice first pullback. I mean, this is just picture perfect. So this was the very first move. It put in like a nice 1-minute flag. This was it trying to break out of that trend line. It just rips as soon as 7 a.m. opens. Puts in this fat candle. A nice 1-minute pullback right here. You get that first 1-minute candle to make a new high right around here. And it ends up breaking out for new highs, but not by much. but it pulled back again. And this time, the 5-minute A was catching up. And I was watching this really close on the 5-minute when it was pulling back. And I even got some pretty good timing on this thing. And once that thing came down and tapped the 1-minute 20 and started to reverse off that level, I very quickly took an entry at the first 1-minute candle to make a new high, risking the low of the pullback here. So my first, actually, I only had one target on this thing. You know, sometimes I break it up in half, but at this one, new high a day was just so close that that was going to be my one and only target on it. And I got it pretty quickly. Again, so we had about 455s was the low of this candle, so my risk would have been $4.54. My entry was about 464, so that's about 10 cents of risk right there. Once it started to pull away, I even added a little bit more because I was so confident in this trade. And it just had the recipe. And again, nothing too crazy to go over. But, you know, what I want to want to highlight again is just how consistent I am in getting to take the same trade over and over and over again and playing it the same way. Guys, if this thing would have came down and broke my my risk off right here, I'm extremely confident I would have just cut the trade. I would have took the small loss. I would have maybe tried it again, or I just would have moved on. And yeah, this was a real quick win, and a really great way to start off the morning. As you can see, the new highs was 490, so getting in kind of that close to that $5 psych level. And let's just see, yeah, so I was able to sell my shares at right around $5 once we started to break for new highs right here. So I got some good fills on that. Perfect trade right here, guys. Again, nice move on the 5-minute. We just broke out of this downtrend to the left. That very first pullback, 5-minute flag, breaks out for new highs. Perfect. And this was honestly a very A quality setup here. It didn't have a catalyst or breaking news, but I mean, this was the only thing moving, and it just made sense. Yeah, and that's how I started the morning. Let's go ahead and move on. Next trade was VCIG. Now, this one did have breaking news. Kind of want to see what that was again. VCIG. Cheaper stock. But this one did have a good headline. This was an 8 a.m. play, so $2 billion partnership with something. Either way, it had breaking news. Let's kind of go over that one. Let me see if I can even find it. Okay, if not, type it in. Kind of go over what I was thinking on this one. So again, I was interested in this one because it had that breaking news catalyst and because it made such a nice move and big volume came in. The only thing with this one, and I know other people in my chat were talking about it too, is just how big of a move it made initially. Definitely took some of the pop away, or definitely took some of the opportunity away. I mean, this thing ripped a good probably about over 100% right out of the gates, and it didn't leave too much room for a really good pullback. And again, this trade didn't even count for me because it ended up being very small green, but pretty much break even. But I do remember how I traded this, so I kind of want to go over it. So I was watching for I mean, this was great price action. The volume was great. We were cranking, as you see, 3 mil on this candle, 3 mil on that candle. That's really, really good volume. It was a cheaper stock, but for pre-market, that's definitely grabbed my attention. And always gives me confidence when I see big volume coming in like that. Just makes this pattern much easier to trade. And what I liked about it is it didn't really, although it made such a big move, we kind of pulled back. We made like a big pullback without it continuing to rip higher. So yeah, it came out the gates, ripped high, but it didn't, just keep running away. It did make this pullback. And I was being very patient because, again, I'm waiting for that simple confirmation of that 1 minute candle to make a new high. And as you can see, we're pulling back. Now I'm just waiting. I'm waiting. And honestly, the more this pulls back, as long as it's nothing like super dramatic, as you can see, the 5-minute 8 was pretty down here, and it did have to have some time to catch up to that. I even feel more confident because I know that the risk is less because we just made this big pullback, and if it did want to curl, I have lower risk. And as soon as I think I timed this one as well, so what made this trade better is that I was waiting for this 5-minute candle to close as well. So all this pullback was in this 5-minute candle right here, and I seen that 5-minute candle was about to close soon. So I definitely wanted to wait to take an entry because I wanted to get on this potential push candle. And this green candle right here is pretty much when this fresh 5-minute candle opened, and that gives me the best possible timing. So with that, when we break that 1-minute candle to make a new high here, that's when I stab my entry. And in this case, it was, just about the best possible entry you could have had on this setup right here. Right here on this candle, actually. But you know what I mean. Right in this area right here is where I went ahead and punched my entry. Now, on this one, I did split the targets in half. And my first target would have been the first 5-minute candle to make a new high, which was at 125 for me. I would have been right here. So this was my first target. And I didn't end up taking any profits on this trade, even though we had a nice little bounce right here, just because I wanted to wait for my targets. You know what I mean? Like, if this thing was truly going to be the stock that continues higher, it's going to continue higher. And this one, it gave a little pop, but it did not continue higher. It ended up going sideways. And, yeah, I was up 10 cents a share here, but that's about it. You know what I mean? And what I was thinking to myself, so once we did finally start curling right here, and we started to set up like this 1-minute flag right here, I wanted to see this break out and go. So what I was kind of dynamic on my stop here. I didn't want it to come all the way back down here and even go right on the trade. I said, if this 1-minute setup, if it breaks below this area right here, I'm just going to go ahead and get out, and that's what I did. I just went ahead and cut it. For a very, very small winner, it didn't even count because I didn't even hit the 10 cents per share target. But yeah, I think there was another play there was actually 2 other plays going around 8 a.m. That I think kind of stole the thunder from this one. But overall, this was still a good opportunity. My execution on it, I couldn't have done it better. My entry was on point. I was patient. And when I could see that it clearly just was not working anymore, I went ahead and got out. No drama. And I moved on. So let's see. I ended up taking one more trade. And then I do want to go over one more play that I did not trade. Okay, so last trade of the day for me was on PFRX. This one also had breaking news. Let's go ahead and pull that up one last time. PRFX. 8:30 a.m. So this was 8:30 news, and this one was with Nvidia. So I definitely loved this play. And let's see. I lost $6 on this trade, so I pretty much broke even on this one. But it definitely had that look, and I was there for it. Unfortunately, it didn't end up continuing, and that's just, well, it did. So actually, yeah, this is a great trade to go over. Because it did ended up going in my favor, but I just wasn't there for it. I think I ended up stepping away from my computer for the morning. But why are you not letting me? Okay. It's like not letting me get in here. Okay. So again, let me orient myself here, because I had some. Okay. Looking at this trade again, a big pop, man. Just boner candle. It is unfortunate to see, like, when it just rips like that, because I kind of want to see a build up, man. I kind of want to see something like this over multiple candles. Then we pull back, not like this 100, and this was 100% move in this one candle right here, and then it started to pull back. But again, with the catalyst and with the volume, I played ball, and this one had good volume, and it was making a nice pullback. Unfortunately, I just wasn't able to catch when it finally did reverse, and this thing wanted to pull all the way back to the 5-minute 8, which at the moment, when I took the trade in this area here, I'm sorry, in here, it was still a little bit extended, and it just wanted to pull back a little more, which it did, and then it finally started to make that reversal. But I'm glad. I want to see this right now. So my first trade on it was the very first 1 minute candle to make a new high around the 5 minute 8 and the 1 minute 20 right here. You can see that it put in that low. The 1 minute candle to make a new high was here. Boom, I took an entry, risking the low of this pullback. We got it. It looked like it wanted to start here, but again, I had two targets on it. My first target was 275, which was, I'm sorry, maybe 276, which was the first 5 minute candle to make a new high. I wanted to see this candle break this previous high. I would have took half there. That would have been a good place to take some off the table. And then I wanted to see this continue, and I would have wanted to hold for this 330s level. So as you see, we kind of came up and flirted with that first profit target. But I just didn't take any off the table, man. I really wanted to see that level push, and it didn't. And once it came back down around my average, I just went ahead and cut the trade because I wanted to see that go again. It's kind of like a breakout bailout mentality. You don't want to see this come up, test where you want it to break, pull all the way back, and then pretend no. I didn't want to see that, so I went ahead and just cut the trade break even. Now, just as a review for this, this is why I don't mind giving some plays another chance, especially if you control the loss on your first attempt. That's the kicker. Now, if my risk broke here and then I end up bag holding, I cut for like a bigger loss than I should have, and then I get back in, that's revenge trading. That's a no bueno. But I cut my trade properly here. I would have been in a perfect position to take this again, to take this this next try once we actually if I can get the timing right on this candle right here. As you can see, it puts in the low. The next 1 minute candle to make a new high after we started to pull back again. As you can see, that would have been a beautiful entry, and it was just pretty much clear skies. A nice grind right here up to new high a day. I would have kept my two same targets. Would have moved that down a little bit because this would have been the new 5 minute candle to make a new high here. That would have been a great place to take some off the table, especially down with these entries down here in like 230s. That would have been about 40 cents a share. And yeah, this is a great trade opportunity here. I'm sorry, my voice is I'm dying. This was a great trade opportunity. I had the right idea. My timing was just off. And my daughter wasn't feeling good, so I decided to just step away, get ready for work. So I did miss this, but I feel like in my mindset, I would have been there and I would have been able to capitalize on it. And this is like I said, as long as you control your losses, man, you will have the opportunity, because I kept my loss so small that I can afford to take another try, because if this thing goes in my way like it did, I'm going to make 2 to 3 times my risk anyways. That's just how you got to be thinking, man. That's just how you got to be thinking. This video is getting a little long. I wanted to go over one more trade real quick that ended up being pretty much the play of the day, especially at open, but I missed this trade. And this one also had breaking news. I believe it did. This one was making its move as I was watching another one of the other pre-market plays I was in. But in hindsight, guys, again, first 5 minute pullback to the 5 minute ADMA, made a nice move, a nice reversal off that level. And how we could have traded this one is the same as every other trade. This is a nice setup in here. A very early setup. If you were able to catch that, obviously you would have done very well. But this is kind of how I would have mapped it out. I wasn't really on this one too much because I was in a different trade. Just trying to pay attention. If I missed this, I missed it. It's all good. Kind of want to draw. This is just like how I would have been playing it out in my head. That's a very tiny line. All right, yeah. So real simple, Here's that first 5 minute push. Very good volume on this trade. On this stock from the breaking news. put in a nice. I probably would have took this trade here, risking the low of this pullback right here. So the risk there would have been like 161. I probably could have got about 171. You see, you got a little pop there. Didn't even give me 10 cents of profit. Could have stopped out right there. And then again, once it makes that base, first 1 minute candle to make a new high is here. You would have been able to get an entry. It does come down and test that risk off. But as you can see, it didn't break it. So we would have been able to hold on to our position there. Then it starts to curl, breaks out of the downtrend. That's important. Look at this. Breaks out of the downtrend, makes a little pullback, then goes. That's perfect. So kind of see the opportunity there. Don't want to dig in too much because I didn't take this trade. But guys, overall, I just hope that as these videos are going, you can just see how I'm looking for the same thing every single day. The difference now is I'm trading like a professional. I'm cutting my losses more aggressively than I ever have, and more disciplined than I ever have. And my kickstart to this eval, I think, is a result of that. So I'm not trying to focus so much on being a great winner and winning every trade. I want to, whatever my worst day of trading is and my worst game, my worst behavior, that's what I want to work on, because that's what makes you a better winner on the other side, is making sure that whatever the worst day you could possibly have in trading, that's what you want to work on. Like, what would you do on those days? Would you revenge trade and freaking bag hold your losses, not cut when you're supposed to, things like that. So as long as I can, not make those big rookie mistakes, guys, I think we're going to keep going in the right direction. And it's only Tuesday, so I can't wait to see what other opportunities, what else I can learn this week, because that's the big picture. If I don't win a trade and I'm taking these losses, these small controlled losses, guys, that's learning. Something to learn. As long as you come back, you review your trades like I'm doing here, and just try to pull little things out of it week after week after week, guys. That's it. Peace. See you tomorrow.